Welcome back to the Keegan and Company podcast. For those who are new to the show, my name is Keegan Hipgrave. Guys, if you haven't already, could I get you to jump over, give us a little like and subscribe on whatever platform you listen to this podcast on, whether it's Apple, YouTube, Spotify. It's a great way for us to grow the podcast, grow the platform, and just have some incredible guests like I've got on today who's already laughing at me. In this episode, I'm joined by a grand final winner for the AFLW Brisbane Lions team, Dakota Davidson. How are you, Daxie?
Oh, you nailed that!
we were talking about it before jumping on. And you're like, when are you doing the pre-record? I was like, we're doing it straight away.
I dead ass thought you like, yeah, no worries. Like, I thought it was all pre-recorded, but that was just raw and unreal.
We did it raw.
That was really good.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. We've done enough. Like, we've done enough of them already. So we should have it down pat by now. But I say this, I reckon I lead with this every time I start a podcast because I've always got mates sitting where you're sitting, and they're always just taking the piss out of me. They're like, anyway.
That was really impressive.
I appreciate
I would have done that 3 or 4 times at least. I guess, yeah, you've done it.
When do you think you'll start? When do you think you'll start a potty? Because you'd be so good at having your own podcast. Or do you reckon it might get cancelled?
I'm gonna get cancelled.
Yeah.
I'd talk about some stuff, but I'd talk too much. Like, they'd go too long.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't cut it off at a certain time.
Sure.
It would be all like drag on for hours and hours and hours, and people get bored after a while, I reckon.
I don't know. It's probably a podcast I'd listen to.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, so talk to Jade and the crew. So I'm taking over the Lions
Shout
podcast. Hey, how you feeling? We had a beautiful afternoon, P3 recovery. Like, we had a nice little warm bath, ice bath. How you feeling?
Yeah, better than what I did last night coming off the track.
Really?
It was a big night last night, so it was good to get the body moving. Did some active bit of walking this morning with the girls, and then came down here. Beautiful day on the coast. Bit of shower, bit of sun, bit of shower, bit of sun. Didn't know what you were getting. But, good afternoon. Bit of hot cold.
I don't know what it is about, like, jumping in recovery. Like, because obviously you do it every day. We're talking about it at the Sabo. But I just feel so good. Now, like, you tell me you don't feel good now? Like, not during. Like not during. Like, obviously when we're doing the ice. So I think we jumped in. You're in the ice for like 5 seconds and you jumped out.
Oh, it took my breath away.
Took
my breath away. But no, I it's not something I enjoy, no. You'd think after a while, like you said, you've been doing it for so long, your body would just get used to it. But I've been doing it now for 5 years and I still don't get used to it. Like, it's awful.
You still hate it?
Oh, with every inch of my body. But I just do it because I know I have to do it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
What's recovery looking like for you these days? Because I saw you've got your Whoop on, which is sick. And I was talking to you about it. And I was like, oh, you only just got it? You're like, nah, I've had it for like 4 years.
Yeah.
You were an OG.
Yeah, OG Whoop wearer. Jeez, that took a while.
Say that.
I've had my Whoop for a few years now and I love it. I love checking out all the stuff it's got on it, like sleep, the recovery. Like, I can wake up being like, I've had, 45 minutes of REM, no wonder I feel like crap. Yeah. So it's like, how then can I make that up during the day? Being like, oh, I might have an hour and a half nap, like in the afternoon or something. Yeah. Like, just sort of make that stuff up. But, I've worn it for years now. I love it. Yeah. It's honestly like, I get anxious. Like, you should see the tan line on it.
Really?
Check out the tan line on it.
You need to start changing wrists, I think.
I know, but I'm like quite proud of it. Like, I'm like, I'm a Whoop wearer. Like,
I think it's becoming trendy in the last year.
Like, it is.
It's wild, hey. Like, they've like taken over. Like, you're OG, which is cool to see.
Yeah, us girls were one of the first because our S&C guy, he knows all the people over in America, so he organised it for us, and a few of the girls wore it that first few years. Like, I think Kate Luckins had like a 2,000-day streak. Like, you know how you got streaks of wearing it, like days. She had like over 2,000. I was just like, she was insane with her Whoop. Like, loved it. And we all love it. But like, it's not a forceful thing. You don't have to wear it if you don't want to. But I just like wearing it because I like seeing how I sleep, seeing how I recover, seeing my strain on a big night. So good. When you're absolutely cooking, you're like, I did work hard tonight, boys.
Take it off after a big night. But I love mine, like, for the sleep and the stress. I was telling you, Savo, in the ice. Like, I'll look at it and it might give me a recovery score of, hey, if I'm in the red or if I'm in the yellow. And the next day, same as you, I'll just pull it back. Like, I might not rip the head off it in training. I might just like pull back a little bit, or I might prioritize sleep the next night, which is wild.
100%.
It's so sick.
I woke up and like went to bed at 10:37. Like, tonight I'm going to go to bed at 10:30. Great. An extra 7 minutes of sleep just to make up for like that REM stuff.
I listened to a girl by the name of Kristen Holmes. She's like the, I think I want to say head of data at work. She did a podcast with Diary of a CEO. It was an incredible podcast, and she's actually doing a lot of the studies in the female space, which is cool. I was telling you how we're going to go over to Boston in August, and we're going to talk to Kristen. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We're like just finalizing it off, but like she is like so incredible. And what she talks about sleep is like how going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time, that is such a great predictor of like being overall healthy.
Really?
It's one of the greatest things. She hasn't been sick in like 4 years, and she puts it down to, obviously she's seeing all the stats.
It's 4 years.
4 years.
Hasn't been sick
in 4 years.
What?
And that's the main thing that she puts it down to. And she's looking at all the data. Like she's looking at, eating well, sleeping well, every little thing, like lights before bed. She's looking at it all, because you know how you can track the little
you can track so much on it.
You can track the little things, like any little action you're doing.
Yeah.
She's like, the biggest impact for her and for everyone is going to bed and waking up at the same time.
Wow. Yeah, no, you could proper lose yourself in this if you wanted to. Like on the app, what's given to you, like you could really dive deep, like really get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff you can like pull from Whoop. So I just really surface level, like I'm not very educated on the whole thing. Like Greenie educates us in certain aspects, but just the things that we really need to know about. But you can go absolutely insane with these things.
You talked about how you don't like doing the ice bath, but you do it every day because it's good for you. What does an average recovery day look like for you at the moment?
Average recovery day, so it's our Thursdays, so we get Thursdays off. So I like to, obviously I don't set any alarms. I just wake up when my body allows me to wake up, because we usually have our big session on the Wednesday the night before. So Thursday wake up, no alarms, good brekkie. I'm getting into the pancakes at the moment.
Yeah, really? Protein pancakes or just loaded up?
We'll go with protein for the podcast.
Love that. Yeah.
No, I'm getting my bacon, my eggs, my pancakes, sugar-free maple syrup though, that's the game.
Gotcha.
That's where I'm cutting the calories out, you know?
Yeah.
Good brekkie, bit of music on, like getting my body moving again. Do my chores around the house, you know. That's my day off, so I usually get admin done as well.
Are you loading up on food just because you're training at such a high level? Like you're burning so many calories, so you have to.
Yeah, honestly, like you find yourself in deficits all the time because you're just constantly burning that many calories, like insane.
That's it. That's an interesting conversation. I did a potty with Ruby Slasher in Melbourne last week, and that was totally off topic, but she was talking around like the body image piece and growing up. She thought that she had to be light in order to be a good footballer or a good AFLW player, and she's just like, when she was at her lightest, when she probably wasn't eating enough calories that she was supposed to be consuming because she was training so much. She won like she was in like the All Australian team. She was playing some really good footy, and so she thought she had to be light, and then obviously became like really strict on her eating, and then. And it ended up getting to the place where it wasn't healthy. And she'd actually seen other people go down probably a more, I don't know, tougher path and probably on the more extreme end. And she's just like, and she actually caught it quickly and had conversations with the dietitians and everything like that. So it's obviously such a prevalent conversation in the female space,
It is, no, it definitely is, because, we've got a huge, like, obviously your role, you play your role, like, if you're going to be a hybrid winger, you're obviously going to be different to what I am as a key forward. So I personally have had no problems with food. If anything, I've had a little bit too much food. I need to pipe down on the food aspect, but it's always a topic of conversation. Our dietitian comes in 2-3 days a week just to genuinely give us information on how to fuel your body for what you're about to endure, which is a pretty grueling trainings. So a lot of the girls do undereat. That is one of the worst things going across the whole of AFLW is undereating. And obviously you're in the spotlight, everything's about body image these days, and it gets to you. I know heaps of girls that it's affected, which is super sad, but I personally are on the other side of the spectrum where I probably could cut out a few extra pancakes in the morning, but
it's an interesting conversation to have, because like I can only speak from the male space, and growing up, I don't know if it's still like that anymore. I've been out of the game for 2 years now, but like the conversation around like fat clubs and doing skin folds.
Skin folds, they got rid of that.
Yeah, I heard they got rid of the skin folds, and I was like, that's so interesting because it is like it's a different space, and it's just one of those topics that need to be a lot more. I don't know. I guess you just have to tread more carefully because it is a sensitive topic.
100%. Like we see it as, how can you become an elite footballer?
Yes.
Like most girls have just higher metabolisms. So how can we, just make them become better footballers? We don't see them as skin folds. How much do you weigh? Like none of that. Like we do, or one thing we do is a DEXA.
Yes.
So we have DEXA scans, which most clubs have as well.
It's kind of like an MRI that you go through and it measures your body
fat percentage, right. So we do that, and it's not measuring like how big you are or how small you are. It's how we can make you a better athlete. Yeah. So then our dietitian gets that and goes, right, you need to eat this amount of food, this amount of food. And some girls just can't. You can't consume that much food. Yeah. That's just humanly impossible. Yeah. So, but honestly, we take it as, how can you be a better athlete? Yeah. Like how much food you can consume to become a stronger athlete, to become a hybrid athlete, like all that sort of stuff.
I love that conversation, and it's cool that everyone, it seems like in your club at the Lions, like everyone's on the same page with it, whether it's like, head of performance, dietitian, and it's such a great conversation. I'm glad we're having it on this podcast because there'd be so many younger crew and even people who are in the AFLW, AFL in general, that'll be listening to this and be like, it's a conversation that needs to be had, and it's probably a learning curve for them, where it's just like, no, actually underfueling yourself is going to have negative impacts on your performance. And at the end of the day, we're here to win games of footy. You know what I mean?
I've been on the end of that stick of underfueling before a game, and literally just your body just can't do what it needs to do.
What did it look like?
Just fatigue, dizziness, like headaches, just no energy. Just like I remember when at my first couple games, when I was obviously nervous debuting and stuff, like I think before one game I had one banana. That was it. And I was going to go play a game of football. Like,
you can't be doing that.
I couldn't do it. And my whole body was just like, so over the years, you obviously learn, because it's a high intensity sport, it's crazy. Yes. Like how you got to perform and stuff under the pressure. So I was eating literally a banana and I think a hydrolyte, and I was like, I'm ready to play football. But yeah, like obviously over the years, I've learned so much information on how much protein you should be consuming per kilo, and like how much carbohydrate you should have before a game. And even during sessions, we're having these energy gels that are like keeping us, sustained and full enough to be able to last the whole training session. Yeah. So it's not a bad thing. It's a great conversation. Like everyone's having them. It's not a shaming conversation. You're not like, you're so skinny, what are you doing? Yeah. No, it's like, you're smaller. How can we get you to a healthier, performing elite athlete? Like, it's not a bad conversation, and we've made it a positive impact in a positive space for all the girls.
I love that. I think that's so cool. You talked about the performance, and you also talked about making debut, which I do want to talk about, like going into it. But I think before we start, I kind of want to know like what it was like growing up. Like you're obviously a Brizzy girl. Like
no, Ipswich.
Ippy is Brisbane. Ipswich is
if I said that to someone, they'd be like, "No, it's not. Ipswich is not Brisbane. Ipswich is its whole."
I knew. I know. Yeah, actually, you're probably right. I think it's just because living on the Gold Coast, I'm like, yeah, Brizzy, Ipswich, it's all the same.
No, mate. Well, I get a lot of stick for that, but I'm proud.
What was it like growing up for you? What were you like as a kid?
I was a menace. Yeah. No, I had the best childhood, like unreal. Everything given to me, like, well, not everything given to me, but like, I never went without. Yeah. Mum and dad always had food on the plate, always had, bed to sleep in, roof over my head. Like, I had 3 siblings. So there's Jacob, Abby, and Stella.
Where do you sit on that?
I'm the third.
Gotcha.
So Jacob's 30 almost, Abby's almost 28, 26, and then Stella's just turned 21. Gotcha. Mum and dad, 2 dash hounds, and a big old golden Labrador. So she's a beautiful old girl. Yeah. I just grew up a tomboy. I was just outside. I think I was so lucky that I was in the generation of not quite technology taken over. So I remember very, very vividly, like I had this little bike and it was red. I hated red. I wanted it to be black. As you can tell, I love all black. Yeah. Spray painted it black. All in the shed. Didn't put anything down. It's just spray paint all over the ground of the shed. And then I named it Dash, and I went to the Ipswich show. May the 16th. That's when it is. And I got a knight in shining armor show bag.
Yeah. So pretty gay.
And I put the whole kit on, the helmet, and I had to rescue the princess. What 6-year-old is rescuing princesses? Like, am I not gay? Like, what is going on?
Who was the princess? Was there a younger?
It was. Do you remember High School Musical?
Yeah.
Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh, honestly, big crush. Big crush.
So I had to rescue the princess. That was my little game. So I'd ride around the house, and if I didn't make it in a certain time, I'd die from the dragon. But I kept track of the time.
Yeah.
And I'd be like 3, and I'd pedal 2. Shit. And Gabriella Montez was waiting there for me.
That's so wild. That's such a wild story. But that's like...
I was like 6.
So obviously, pretty active kid.
Oh, mate. I was outside. My brother got into WWE SmackDown, and he'd summon me to the trampoline, and he'd perform all these tricks on me, and I'd break my arm, and I'd snap my leg, and everywhere. And were you into WWE at the time as well? No, I just loved playing with him.
Yeah, gotcha.
I just loved playing outside, and then he'd summon me to the trampoline, and he'd perform his double choke slam backbreaker, and he'd get me, and he'd jump off the side of the house, and he'd just body slam me on the tram. And I'd just be like crying. Oh, I'd cry and I'd cry. And Mum was a nurse, so she didn't care. Yeah. Well, she did care, but she's like, I see like people dying every day. Like, you're fine.
If there's no blood, don't
no blood, vomit, or broken bones, you're fine. Abby was she just kerfuffled around. You know, she was nice. And then Stella was just a bit young. There's like 5 years between us. Yeah. So it was just Jacob and I where I got my tomboy. I was like the little brother he never had.
I am super grateful that we grew up not in the heavy social media age. Hey?
Oh, we've skipped it.
I'm so grateful. We're so lucky. Like, I think about this all the time. Like, similar to you, like we had the big trampoline, like double jumping each other off, and then
into the pool.
I remember me and one of my best mates. We the people who owned the house before us, like where we grew up on the Goldie, they were divers, like Olympic divers. So the pool was deep. The pool was super deep.
In the backyard?
In the backyard.
Wow.
Yeah. It was epic. And then me and my best mate, we climbed to the top of the house, and my mate's like super athletic.
Yeah.
His name's Fletch, and I was like the little fat kid, right? Like I was
fatty.
I was fat. I was
a little fat.
I was
a twig. I was about this big.
I wish we swapped. But anyway, we're on the top of the roof, and we're looking down, and mate Fletch, like he's making that jump. He's making the jump. It's probably like a couple meters to maybe 2 meters to
That is so dangerous now. Imagine doing that now.
Well, you're like 10 or 12. You had no idea. And my mum came out, and she's like, "Dang!" Hey! Fucking pulled me back in. She's like, "Fletch would have made it, but there's no way you would have made it." I was like, "Oh, Mum."
No athletic ability at all.
No athletic ability at all. I was just bigger than everyone, and then that's what took me to play footy. But sports, like was AFL prominent when you were playing? Like, what sports were you playing growing up?
I just played anything that got me a day off school.
Like what? Give me an example.
Mate. I played badminton once just to get 3 day off.
Yeah.
Like, I played badminton in my life.
Yeah.
Decided to play it. But I started at soccer under 6 Stingrays. Only girl that played in the team. Yeah. Up until about under 15s, I played soccer. And then obviously I had to leave the boys to go play with the girls, and I didn't want to because I didn't like playing with the girls. They weren't as like rough and tumble and stuff as the boys were. Yeah. Primary school was mainly soccer, and then high schools, I went to Ipswich Girls, so they offered a lot of school programming. And I stopped playing club because obviously the school offered so much. And touch football, athletics, cross country, swimming, volleyball, tennis, cricket, anything. Honestly, anything.
When you were growing up, did you think that sport could be a profession?
Nah.
No?
I was like, the amount of times Dad had a conversation with me and being like, "What are you going to do? You're going to be a teacher. You're going to be, you know, what are you going to do?" And I was like, I never once in the conversation was sport. Yeah.
What did you think it was going to be?
Oh, I don't know. I got no idea what I'm good at. I'm good at chatting. I'm good at talking absolute rubbish. But I'm no good at like because I've got ADHD. So like focusing in school was like the toughest thing I've ever done. I went to uni for about 3 minutes. Couldn't do it. Like useless. Yeah. Like, and then it all sort of came to when I started to get tested, and I was like, "Oh my God, like it makes sense now."
So why I struggled. So you actually do have ADHD?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
Literally last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so
It all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
Run me through that experience.
Well, like I said, I was always an outgoing kid. Mum always said, like, you know, you've got so much energy. It's all right. You just get really excited around people. Like, but this was back when, like, I feel like everyone's got something now. Everyone's got something going for them. But this was back in, like, where it was like, oh, you must be a weirdo if you've got autism or ADHD or OCD or whatever it is. So we never got tested or anything. We all just sort of cruised around, and Mum just kept saying, you know, you're really outgoing. You're just having a good time. You just enjoy people. Yeah. What's that noise?
It's the planes.
Oh. I was like, oh.
We'll have to cut that bit out. we'll cut that bit. It won't pick it up on the microphone.
And then, and then we started coming into footy, and obviously we have to have like meetings and sit down for a large portion of time. And like I said, I went through uni and always really struggled at uni and never paid attention, like useless. Like I never took anything in. And then I was like, I think there's something not right here.
even like, because I imagine focusing, sitting in a video session or sitting through sessions, like, was that hard?
Oh, you'd have me for about 7 minutes. I tell Craig, I go, Craig, keep it short, keep it sweet. You'll have me for about 10 minutes.
Really?
And then after that, you've lost me. You'll see me. I'm like this, looking around, bloody, looking at my toes. I'll fiddle with this. Like, you'll see me right now. Like, I constantly fiddle. Yeah. Like, you're sitting there so beautifully. And I'm just like rubbing my leg. I'll switch my legs around. Like, I'll just fiddle and I'll touch the plant. I'll sit up straight and I just move.
And so so you said it came to a time where you thought, I want to get tested. I want to figure out what's going on.
It was getting annoying. Like, it was getting annoying. I was getting frustrated. I was like, why? Like, it started to impact relationships. Like, my ex-partner was like telling me to do all the stuff and I'd forget it all. And then she's like, did you do that today? I go, oh shit, no, sorry. And then like, she goes, what about this? Like, I already told you about this. Why have you not done it? Oh shit, sorry. Like, I just started to get really, really bad. Yeah. Like, my relationship started to struggle. So it's like something I went into therapy about. I was like, I need to go get this sorted. And she goes, have you ever looked into potentially ADHD? Yeah. And I was like, no. Like, what? And then, literally reached out to AFLPA. Yeah. And I was like, I need to find a psychiatrist. They found me someone within the week and off I went. And he's like, where have you been? Like, you're crackers.
Yeah. So how does it help? Because for me, I'm a novice. Like, I've got no idea what the process is. Like, is it a medication? Like, is it talking to the therapist? Like, what are the best? First of all, what are you doing to help it? And then secondly, what are the positive effects that have helped?
At the moment, I'm in the process of getting medicated. So you take Dexies, I think they call it. I actually don't know the full name for it. So it's very long. It's like 15 letters. So you take Dexies and they're a fast release. So I'll take 2 a day, 1 in the morning and then 1 at about midday and then able to sleep at night. And it's just basically like brings your focus in. Gotcha. Like, it's like, because right now, if something moved, I'd be I'd be over there looking at it. Like, my brain's working at 1,000,000 miles an hour all the time.
Do you get fatigued?
So fatigued.
Yeah.
So that's when, like, I've now understood now that when I go home for my alone time, I love it. That is when I recharge my social batteries so that I'm ready to be with whoever I am. So when I'm at training, I'm a ball of energy. I'm so fun. And then when I get home, I'm a hermit crab. I am in my room by myself for hours.
That's so interesting because I look at you, obviously I've known you for a little while now, and I would have thought, like, obviously, like, super extroverted, like you can talk to anyone.
Talk back legs on the dog.
I caught up. I had a few conversations with Poppy and Nat leading into
they told me about them. I'm a bit worried.
We'll keep it PG. But that was part of the conversation. It was all about first of all, like, just how fucking genuine and authentic you are. That was probably the main nice things of the conversation.
God, they're nice.
They are. That was actually a really wholesome conversation. But another thing was just like so much energy, like so much good energy at training, but you need that. You need those types of people in a sporting club, and I would imagine like you would get energy from other people, but you're saying like I actually need time just to come back and like just relax.
Yeah, 100%. I vibe off other people's energy, and I love making people smile. Yeah, that is one of my favorite things to do. It's just like, if I can make you smile, like, I'm so happy. And then like I get these sad people, I'm like, it is my mission. to make you not sad right now or make you like, just chill. Like, I know you're stressed, but like, just relax.
Yeah,
like, everything's so fun. Like, have a smile. Like it's so fun. Like, I obviously have such a good life. Like, I've got not much stress. Like, footy training, that's about it. Like, no worries. And then, like, obviously people work the 9 till 5 and they're, you know, obviously stressed about their days and stuff. But I'm just like, if I can make that little bit of you smile that day, oh, that's a cracker day. I'm going home happy then.
Have you had any examples where there's been crew, and you don't have to name any names, but has there been any times that stand out where you're like, oh, that was actually really cool? In terms of like someone might have been down or like, I don't know.
I've definitely gotten a few people like out of their little holes. Like I could definitely see you can obviously sense a shift of people, but see, there's my indigestion.
No, you're good. Because I think it's all the time, and it obviously like it's a mental health and sport podcast, and I'm such an advocate for talking about what you're going through, talking to psychs, talking to families, talking to friends. But honestly, like, and there is a place for that. But if you just have a belly laugh with someone, there is like, it doesn't matter what's going on. Like honestly, like you could be going through some of the most wild things and you have a belly laugh with like a friend or a teammate. It's like automatic mood, like dopamine release and you're flying. You know what I mean?
We actually had one of them the other day at training. So it was dinner time and it was a new I can never say it, analyst.
Data analyst.
Analyst. Our new analyst, Nathan, and then it was Jade, Poppy, Sophie and I, and we're all sitting around. And we just giggled. Like, and then you'd say something and it would build on another thing. Like I actually had a sore gut. Like I actually like went home. I had to lie down, like let my food digest because it was just like trying to get food in while laughing and you feel sick. Like I felt sick afterwards. I laughed that hard. Like, but then we made a group chat, just us 5. Jade did. She goes, I just want to thank you guys. That was the best laugh I've had in a long time.
That must be so nice.
And then we like had a little chat, like, you go girls. And Nathan's like, yes, queen. And we're just like,
he's in the chat as well.
Yeah, he's in it. Like us 5 that were at the table, Jade sent us a group chat and we were just like, why don't you do that more often? Like, why don't you just thank someone for being like, thanks for making me laugh. Like you're the best. You brightened up my day.
Someone said to me, I think it was when we first started the podcast. His name's Ali Day. He's a Ironman here on the Gold Coast. One of the great men. Got so much love for that guy. But he has this thing where if he thinks a good thing about someone, he'll just tell them.
Bell doors.
Yeah. What?
See it, say it.
What do you say? Bell doors.
Bell doors. You know Bell doors in our team?
Yes. Sorry.
She has a saying, see it, say it.
I love that.
So if you see something, say something.
Even it's like new haircut. Bro, that's a sick haircut. Or like, what do you, mate, those kicks? Are you joking? Like,
yes.
It's a very little thing, but like, see it, say it. I love that. Yeah.
That's what we do. See it, say it. And Bell's installed that into me now. Now, like, I'll do it with people.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's so easy and it makes someone else feel better.
Love that.
I'm all about it.
I'd love to, we've obviously like gone around the tracks here, but I do want to get into the fact of like how you like came into the AFLW, because you said it was never going to be, you didn't think it was going to be a career. At what point did you think, oh, this is actually something that I really want to do?
I've never thought that.
Still? Really?
Like, it's like what I'm doing right now, it feels so weird. Like, it feels like I'm just going to finish. Like, I don't even know. I still don't feel like it's a career. I just love it so much. It feels like it's not a job. You people are like, this is my job. I go, this is fun. Like, this is not a job, but it is a job at the end of the day. And it's like, I literally wake up, play footy, go home. That's unreal. Like, that is unreal.
Yeah.
Like it's never been a dream for me. Like, it's never. I've rolled into it.
Yeah.
I literally rolled into it. Just happened to be good. Happened to be a big body, like, you know, key forward, good marking. But it's never been like I was just playing footy and then I got drafted. Like, I didn't, as bad as it sounds, I didn't have to work as hard as they do now to get in. And I'm not taking that for granted or anything. Like, I'm so blessed for what's happened. But like, the girls now, they are going through hoops and bounds and leaps and the pressure that they're under just to get drafted. And a fat kid from UQ that just got picked up. Like, I've lost like 10 kilos since I've been in the AFLW system. Like, I was not fit. I was smashing Big Macs. Like, I was smoking. I was drinking. I was getting into drugs. Like, and then next minute, Craig Starcevich likes how you play your footy.
Mm.
I go, who? I didn't know who he was.
Mm.
So I Googled him and I told my dad, and he goes, pull your head in because this could be an opportunity for something really, really good. And that was 6 years ago.
And then look at the last 6 years.
And now look at me, I'm Fitzbo.
Yeah. Well, like I think you're being very humble, to be honest. Like I know I can imagine what it takes to be in a professional, semi-professional system. It's not easy.
No, it's definitely not
you're
easy.
like, I think you're being super humble, which is nice, but it's like, and you talk about the pressure, it would be hard to stay in there, like, especially the amount of girls who are wanting to play. Like,
Yeah.
and it's really cool because you're now a role model for so many young girls that are coming through. Like, even what the girls were saying on the calls, it was just like fan favorite. Like, you got so much love from crew who are fans watching, and the compounding effect that's going to have on the younger generation coming through will be, it's just undeniable. You know what I mean? So it must sit with you, like, and you're still young. Like,
yeah, I'm so young.
You've got so much time. You've got another 10 years in the game. Like,
oh, my knees don't say so, but yeah, I do.
But like that is, you said it doesn't feel like a job, but it obviously is, and it is a huge part of your life. Like, what do you think the next couple of years are going to look like? Is that something that you think about, that you want to stay in it, or do you want to try other sports? Like, where does that sit?
No, I don't want to go anywhere else. I love AFLW. I've always joked and mucked around about, like, I want to play a sport that will represent Australia and, like, potentially go to, like, the Olympics and stuff. That'd be cool. But I'm very content in AFLW. Like, the camaraderie we have as a team, the environment that I'm in, like, the whole staff members and all that, admin, everyone's just unreal. It's the best place. Like, I mean, it's not a job. Like, I'm like, it's like I'm in there and I'm taking the piss. Like, and then I go and talk to the admin upstairs and they're absolutely chock-a-block. Like, Dax, fuck off. Like, don't talk to us today. And I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, I waited all day to see you. Like,
you were saying in the ice bath this afternoon, you're like, yeah, I was like, oh, your facilities at the Lions, it looks unreal. I came in there, I think it was the end of last year. And you're like, yeah, I'll just bounce around. Like, we got to do the ice baths, and then I'll jump up to the admin upstairs. I'll annoy them for a little while.
Literally. And I'm like, how is this a job?
Yeah.
How is that a job? And they'll go and kick a few footies. Like, I don't see it as that. I just see it as a great place to be. And I'm just there for a good time. And then, like, one day it'll smack me in the chops and I'll be like at a desk working a 9 till 5. Like, but I'm like, it won't be. Like, it's just, I don't get it. Like, how I fell into this world or into this space, it still baffles me. It still baffles me.
It seems like the girls that you have in the team, like that your teammates, it look like you girls get on so well.
That's because we do. We're a bit too close sometimes. Like, you're like, girls, I need other friends.
Yeah.
Like, but you just spend so much time together. Like, you're always together. I'm in the club 6 days a week, like, for hours and hours on end. Like, it's just like I said, but we created that. Like, we've created the culture. Craig always said, I'd rather good people over good athletes.
Do you think that's part of it? I was going to say, like, what makes it, because you guys are fortunate. Like, not every AFLW club have such a tight knit. Like, what is it about it? What are you guys doing that makes you guys so close?
I think we're all just buying in. Like, everyone's just buying in. Like, everyone's starting to, like, 30 women. That's tough. Like, especially when that time of the month comes around, we are hectic.
Are you girls all in sync?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Really?
This next week's going to be nuts.
Oh my God. Oh, I wouldn't even think about it. Because obviously I don't know anything about the female space. And it's a beautiful thing.
Good cover up.
Yeah, I'm good. But, like, of course, like, female cycles sync up.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I've actually just started to think now that all 30 of the players, or however many,
at least over half,
are all synced up.
Yeah. And speaking for my own, I crack it. I lose it. I say, don't fuck with me. I'm not in the mood today.
Really?
Yeah. So you just need to, like, understand how each other tick. Because I know when other girls are on their periods, like, you just got to let them be. Let them relax.
Yeah.
And then, like, Greenie, he's so good. Like, he's like, if you're having an off training, it's fine. It's probably, you know, we're like, oh, Greenie, it's that time of the month. He goes, oh, that makes sense. Because he knows all the science about it. Yeah. You should study the science about it. It's phenomenal.
No, this is something that I'm super interested in having the conversation with. I had a conversation with a girl called Liv Koenig. She's NRLW player for the Roosters, Australia, New South Wales. She's a gun. But we had the conversation when we did a podcast with her about the menstrual cycle and,
Oh.
and from her lived experience, because it does. It affects training.
Yeah.
Trying to grow up, like you're going to be not as strong on certain times in the month. And I was like, from a male's point of view, I was like, we are so lucky. We're consistent the whole time. But I was like, this is something that I wouldn't even thought about.
Yeah. Like I roll into training. There's one, like usually the day before, I get so bloated.
Really?
So fat. And I feel so like self-conscious about it. And I hate it. And I go into training, I'm like, oh, I hate putting this little singlet on because I'm bloated. Like it's so gross. But I'm like, that's just, and then the next day I've got a six pack. No, I don't have a six pack. But like, and then it's funny, like I think 2 or 3 days or maybe 2 days post, like when you get your period, you are strong. Like I'm lifting PBs in the gym. And then you're like, oh, just on my period, it's fine. Like, but then
talk to me about the schedule and the structure, because I'm curious if it's the same for you. But for us, we would go through like a building, maybe like a 6-8 week building process, and then we would do our 1 rep max. We would do our 1 RMs. So I imagine for you girls, if you're doing your 1 RMs
and you're having a bad day,
you're not going to be hitting it.
That's just the luck of the draw.
That's just a reality.
We have it at the start of the season. We have our testing. And then we'll have it midway, and then we'll have it at the end. And it's just luck of the draw. Like testing day when we first started, I was 2 days out from my period, and I was so strong. And I lifted a PB, and now I'm lifting it in the gym, and I'm just like, how did I lift that day? Like it's crazy how your body works.
Oh, these are the conversations I want to have, because obviously we have conversations with athletes all the time, but I want to start having conversations with crew around sleep, menstrual cycles, the female space. Like who do you referring to? Your head of performance?
Yeah, Matthew Green.
Matthew Green. I'd love.
He did a whole study on it. He knows so much about it. It's so good to talk to him about it.
Yeah,
he's phenomenal, and he gets it.
Yeah,
because I'm like, coaching 30 women, that is tough. Like I can barely like hang out with 30 women, like let alone coach them and like try and get them all in order. But we also all buy in. Yeah. Like everyone's obviously there for one reason, and we're all on the same page in that aspect.
And you guys have had a lot of success.
It's so much better when you win, isn't it? Footy is so much better when you win.
Got the grand final win last year, it's so cool. It was
very cool.
And I'm keen to talk about the day and the celebrations and everything. But I know like leading up to the grand final for you personally, bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Can you run me through that?
Yeah, so it was the week. Obviously, I had my All-Australian season, so that was just unreal. And
congratulations.
Yes, so sorry, thank you. And I was feeling unreal, and I was just like loving footy. I was like fit, I was loving it. And then, excuse me, and then preliminary final versus Geelong. I think I literally made one tackle for the whole season, and it just happened to be the tackle that broke the camel's back. So I'd landed and I twisted as I landed, and it's classic ACL like twisting, like. And I was just like, that was the first thought that popped into my head, you know, ACL, I'm done. Grand final over, and we won. So I went off and then got it all together. Head of women's come over, and she's like, pull it together. We'll sit you on the bench. Just relax. Be there for the girls. We'll deal with you afterwards. I was like, yes, like no worries. Yeah. Like just, I don't even know what was going through my head. Afterwards, you know, we won, through to a granny, but I just can't enjoy myself. I'm trying so hard to get out of my head here for the girls, but I'm just thinking my dreams have just been crushed.
Have you played in a grand final before?
Yeah, so we won the 21 one.
121, yeah.
But that was my second year. Like so naive. Yeah. Like I just had no idea. I was like, oh my God, second year, easy. Won a flag. This is easy. Yeah. And then we obviously had the 2 heartbreaks in the 2022 season. And then it got scans done on that Sunday.
But you said you were trying to get out of your head on the sideline. Like obviously everyone's winning, everyone's on a high, but you just got stuck in it. Yeah, like I just everyone was so up and about, and obviously, like you said, the crowd loved me, and everyone's like, Dax, and I'm like I just couldn't get into it, and I'm so sad that I did that. Like I missed that opportunity to be with my fans and enjoy that moment, because not many footy players get that moment. So I was pretty angry, but I went into the locker rooms and we did our dance, we did our singing and stuff, and then I think I took off to the change rooms and I just sat in the toilet and I just cried. Like I just cried for ages, and I was like, all right, pull it together. All right, let's go back out there. So went back out, and the physio comes up to me and she goes, we're getting you a scan on Sunday, see how you go. Did they give you any inkling on what it could be, or did you just think, oh, the way I felt, it's probably ACL.
Yeah, they just said the way you felt is you should prepare for probably the worst. Like, you should be prepared for what's about to come. And I was like, so then our PDM, Sally Young, you know, went with me to the scan and caught up with me. I was bawling in this food court of Carindale. Like, I was just like looking like a dickhead. Yeah. And then Doc called me and he goes, look, from my eyesight, it doesn't look very good, but just let me get a second opinion. And I've taken that and I've run with it. And I'm like, fuck, I'm out here.
Wait, so this is after the scan?
After the scan.
So they got the scan.
Got a scan. Doc said within that afternoon, a couple of hours later. Yeah. And then I've gone and I'm with the girls. Like, I'm watching the North Melbourne Adelaide North Melbourne Adelaide prelim to see who we're versing. And I'm with the girls and Doc calls me and that happens. And I just sort of am with the girls and it all just built up. And I was like, just bawled. And then I was telling my family, I was like, guys, like, brace for the worst. Like, we're probably not going to get out of this, you know, unscathed. And then the longest 2 hours. Because it was a Sunday, you know, like everyone's enjoying their Sunday. Yeah. And he goes, Daxie, are you there? I go, I'm there. What's wrong? And he goes, we're all good, mate. We're all good. And I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, are you actually kidding? Yeah. And then he goes, you have done something. Yeah. But structurally, you should be fine to play. Right. You've torn your meniscus. So I did tear my meniscus. But structurally, you should be fine. And I was like, holy sweet mother of pearls. Like, on the phone to Alice, like my physio, I'm like, what are we doing? Where are we going? How are we doing? She goes, chill, relax. We'll get you in tomorrow. We'll hit the ground. We'll see how you go. You've still got to pass tests. I said, I'll pass any test. I literally thought my whole grand final was just done. Yeah. And my whole season. Like, this whole year would have been done.
Also, just quietly, tearing your MCL is still quite a significant thing as well. We're not just going to walk past that as well. Yeah. Like, that's not just like it's all right.
Oh, but it wasn't the 3 dreaded letters. Yeah. Like, anything, I can play on anything. Like, just strap it up.
But people will still have weeks off with an MCL.
Yeah.
You know that. Like,
it's a substantial injury.
It's a substantial injury. Obviously, there's grades to it, like grade 1, 2, 3. But, I mean, it's still tough. And it's obviously painful as well.
Yeah, it was quite painful. I didn't want to tell anyone that because I wanted to play. Yeah. I would do anything that day to play. Nothing I wanted more than to play in that game. Yeah. Like, I'd worked so hard that season. Us girls have worked so hard. We had so much adversity. Yeah. Nothing else that I was doing than playing that game of football. Gotcha. So then I went to Alice. Geez, it was sore. It was bloody sore. But she was like, structurally, you are so fine. It'll just be playing through pain. And I said, I'll just wait for adrenaline to kick in. Yeah. She goes, you still need to pass a test. I go, I'll bloody pass that test, don't you worry. Yeah. So then, a few days. Did gym, lots of quad work, just reactivating the quad around it so that it takes the pressure off the knee and stuff. And then came to the Thursday main session, just did a few drills, lots of cameras there. Obviously, I was in the spotlight and nothing I really wanted. Like, I wanted the excitement of the grand final week. But my injury took away from that from the girls, which I was pretty upset about because I actually told them, I was like, girls, I'm very overwhelmed. Like, with the amount of media, I keep hitting this silly thing.
You're good, don't worry.
Like, with the amount of media that's coming in and the amount of, you know, stuff I've been doing and how much I'm in an injury cloud and, you know, obviously the media love a story. Yeah. And it's just taken away from the girls and taken away from their grand final week. And I hated that. And as much as I couldn't help it, that's just the way the cookie crumbled at the end of the week. So I opened up to the girls. I was like, girls, I'm fucking overwhelmed here. Like, I've been getting interview after interview and everyone's just all eyes on Dax, and that's just not what I wanted. For the first time in my career, I didn't want the spotlight, which is so weird. But yeah, I went through Thursday, passed that, which was super good. And then we flew out Friday. So then I was just on ice, the quad thing that zaps you, you know that thing? Oh, man, I was living on that thing. Like, and then I was always still under the injury cloud coming Friday. Captain run on Saturday, had to pass that again. Did, very painful, but I didn't want to tell anyone. But I was just saying, like, in my head, I was like, adrenaline will kick in, like, just relax, like, you'll be fine. And then, the game rolled around and adrenaline kicked in and I tweaked it a little bit in one contest, but like I said, I just, nothing else mattered in that moment. Like, I just wanted to win. So, I just kept going.
Well done, because I've been there before, and it's so hard. Like it's like I know you're waiting for the adrenaline, but those lead-in sessions where you've got to pass the
terrible.
medical, it's hard to do. And then it's also getting in your own head as well, where you're like, well, is this even the right thing to do? Like, am I being selfish here in the fact of putting myself in there, where it's just like, is this going to be the best for the team? Because at the end of the day, I imagine that's probably what you want. And you're obviously like, they're not going to put you in if they don't think you're right. And you obviously were right. Because you had some really great success.
Yeah,
especially in the back end of the game. I was talking to the girls. Who was I talking to? Talking to one of the girls, like, yeah, she barely touched the ball in the first half, and then you turned it on in the last quarter.
Literally had 3 touches up to the 4th quarter. End of the game was 6. 2 goals and a flag. I was like, get out of town.
So run me through the feeling of kicking the winner, because you did, like, you kicked the winner, yeah.
I think I didn't kick the sealer. Yeah. Brie Conan, I'll give that to Brie Conan. She deserved everything she got that day. I kicked like the momentum shifter.
Gotcha.
So we were down at 3/4 time by 7 points, and I remember coming into that huddle and looking around at everyone, and I thought, we are not going to lose this game. Everyone was on the same page. Everyone was buzzing. Everyone was just like so in the zone. Like, I've never felt that energy before. It was unreal.
What do you mean? Everyone was just like looking at each other.
Everyone was looking at each other. Everyone just like, we had line meetings, but it wasn't about the line meetings. It was just everyone feel this energy. Like, no one thought we were going to lose. Well, I didn't know about anyone else, but I looked around and I was like, she's on. She's on. We're kicking it here. Yeah. So then I actually thought about it the other day, taking that mark, and I landed on my knee, and it fucking hurt. But I was like, no, I got to kick the goal. And I honestly thought about nothing. Nothing went through my head when I took the mark.
Really?
I just thought, chill. Okay, I'm going to kick the goal, everyone, relax. I never thought I was going to miss.
Yeah.
It never went through my head, oh, fuck, what if you miss this goal? And I'd never hit a footy better in my whole career.
That's got to be such like a subconscious thing, though.
It was. I've never, like, every other game and goal I kicked that season, mate, the stress, the pressure, the rush, the thinking, the routine, all nothing. Not even my routine went through my head. All I could hear was the booing by about 15,000 Roos fans.
Yeah.
But, like, I actually was thinking back. I was like, I didn't think about anything, and I kicked the ball the best I've ever kicked the football in my whole career.
Yeah, you're describing the flow state.
Whatever that is, I don't know what that is.
You know when you're in a flow, with like exactly what you just talked about. Like, you're not thinking, time tends to go a little bit quicker, and you're just in rhythm, and things just happen to be working. It's like they talk about you getting the rub of the green, or like the ball bounces the right way. Like, things just happen.
Yeah.
And you're in a flow, and it's so nice to be in that stage, because that's when you're usually like doing your best work. It's like all the past training and all the past, like, there are thousands and thousands of goals that you've already kicked. Like, that's just like all the hundreds. Like, and it just like they slowly add up, and then when you're in this flow, things just work, and that's works, and that's what it sounds like.
It honestly just did. Like, I don't think I could have kicked it any better. I now take that exact shot at training. I haven't hit one.
Really?
Like, I don't know what came over me, or like what was looking out for me that day. But it was a phenomenal feeling of just nothing. Yeah. And I never thought I'd miss. And it is, I look back at it now, I'm actually mind blown, like, how I felt, because every other game and every other goal is the pressure.
It's an addictive feeling.
Man.
I imagine. Run me through the celebrations. What did it feel? What did it feel like when this final buzzer hits and everyone's just frothing?
I think we knew we won when Brie Conan kicked her goal. And I remember Sophie Conway looking me dead in the eyes, being like, "We fucking done it!" Like, and then I remember Talia Hickey being like, "We still got to put our foot on the throat. No, he's slowing down." And I'm just like, "Guys, I think we won." Yeah, and like, I remember, I threw my mouth guard. I don't know why. I need that, but I threw it away. Yeah. So then I had to go find it after the game. and everyone's on the field, and I'm looking around for my mouth guard.
It's a weird thing to remember.
I've thrown it away, and then yeah, I yelled at our fans, and I was like the double fister cobra, you know what I mean? Always doing that one. And then I went and saw Ali and Bree Conan and Ali Anderson, and we just had a little huddle, and we were just like, we fucking done it. That's unreal. And then, honestly, all a blur. I wish I took more in.
Yeah.
I wish I did, because I remember here and there, but like I wish I took more in. I remember shaking their hands. But I don't remember much else.
It's still, even looking back on it, like you can see it in the smile and like your energy. Like when you talk about it, it must be such an incredible feeling. And like, even if you don't remember it, like I'm sure you look back on it with like super positive emotions. Yeah.
Yeah. It honestly, like highlight of the career. Because the last grand final I played in, I had again 2 touches and didn't kick any goals. Like we still won, but this one I had more of an impact. Yeah. And it was just a fairy tale end to one of my best seasons, and I was super proud of myself. Like I was super proud of everything I did and the girls did that season, and it was just like, you know, a cherry on top of the adversity we faced that whole year. You know, we're always in the limelight of, are they even going to make the top 8? Like, are they even going to, you know, win games? Like, and then we go and win a flag. Like we love it. We love that underdog status. Yeah, it's exciting for us to sit back on the sidelines and watch it, and watch you girls like having success, and you obviously put all the hard work in, but then also like just the community and like the teammates and the camaraderie that you girls have. Obviously this is a mental health and sport podcast, and I'm so grateful for you coming on and touching on the topics that we've already spoken about. But I know you've spoken about like trolls. And a big part of it was after the grand final. Yeah, are you willing to talk about that? Yeah, 100%. So what happened? Because I know it was the main one was after the grand final. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I know I'm not, you know, the most looking female on the planet. Like I know that I'm not the stereotypical looking female. So being, I guess, in a sporting environment and in the spotlight, you're going to have a lot of people have different things and different feelings about you and different thoughts about you. And some of them are positive. A lot of them are positive. And then some of them are not very nice. So I get quite a lot of comments about how I look in regards to my physical appearance. Obviously the short hair, you know, body structure. I don't even know actually what part of me looks like a boy, but I obviously had a lot of success on the grand final day, and I think one of my photos was the front cover of a news article. And I scrolled through the comments and it was all just, he's the best one out there. He won him the game. Good on him. He grew a leg when it was needed. And I've just copped a lot. And it wasn't just that game. It's every game. So I go after every game and I'm human. I go on my phone. I like to read what posts we're having, like Lions post stuff, AFLW post stuff. And I just like to read, you know, what people say. And like I said, some comments are positive, which are great. And then you get these little keyboard warriors that stick behind their keyboard and they just comment whatever they bloody well wish. And they don't realise that there's actually like a human behind those comments that read them, and someone's daughter and someone's friend and, you know, an auntie and uncle. And it's not just a grand final. It happens every game. It happens every game. Every game. Really? Yeah, every game. I get something in regards to being and looking like a boy. I've actually had someone removed from a game. I got some abuse over the fence from a guy. What'd they say, if you don't mind me asking? Something along the lines of like, I don't know what you're doing in the AFLW when you know, what's a man like you doing in the AFLW? I think I kicked the goal against Richmond. And I was actually really, really blessed, but Richmond actually pulled them up. Richmond then spoke to our team and said, hey, this guy's just said this. Do you want him gone? And we're like, shit, yeah, get him out. And he got him removed from the game. Well, it's not appropriate for starters.
Like,
It's not.
like, turn your brain. Like, honestly, turn your brain on. Like, it's 2024. We're not having these. We shouldn't be having these conversations anymore, but we are. And it feels. And I don't know if social media is a way of highlighting that, but I think it is. Like, it's so in your face. Like, you can see it. And to be honest, like, you got to get off the looking at the comments. Like, like a little tip, get off it, because
yeah, 100%.
Because like people who, like you talked about, like these keyboard warriors, what, they got nothing else better to do than write on a post. Like, they've honestly got nothing else better to do, and I don't know if it's the fact that it's a screen that they don't know that they're actually talking to someone behind that. But like you said, people are going to see it. You might not even be looking at the comments, but things just pop up randomly and you might not even see it. And it's a shit thing to do, but I love that Richmond jumped on board and that kicked that person out.
Yeah. I found out that they kicked him out after a while. Like, I obviously heard it, and they obviously heard it too, because it was right on the sub box. Yeah. So they were just like, get him out. But I look back on it now, and I've copped it over the years. Like, I was thinking about it the other night, and I was just like, even in state level, someone's calling me a big dyke. Oh, you're butch. What are you doing? Like, shit like that. But I hate to say it, but I'm really blasé. Like, I think I want to be more passionate about it, but like I haven't spoken about it ever. I only just recently brought it up when it actually affected me and it ruined my grand final experience.
Because I was gonna say, you said you're pretty blasé about it, but you're human at the end of the day, and of course it's gonna have an effect. And you said like the grand final was the one that got you.
Yeah, well, it happens in everyday life. Like, just before, we were at the recovery centre and a bloke goes, "Oh, you're in the wrong toilets, mate." I go, "No, I'm in the fucking right toilets. I know what toilet to go to." And then I'm like, it happens in nightclubs. I've been kicked out of 3 or 4 nightclubs now just for going into the women's toilets. And the security guard, I remember him. We were at the regatta. My sister and I were all out. And he grabbed me by the back of the neck. He dragged me out of the toilet and he goes, "Get the fuck out of here." And I'm like, "What have I done? What have I done wrong?" Yeah. And he goes, "What are you doing in the women's bathroom, perving on all the girls, rah, rah, rah." And I'm like, I literally pulled my shirt up. And I was like, I am a fucking woman. Fuck off.
What did he say?
And he goes, "I think he lost his job. Like, I don't know what happened."
Oh my God.
I didn't see him after that.
Don't mean to laugh, but it's a wild story.
I'm literally out. It's like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I didn't see him after that. But like, the only place it doesn't happen is the Beat nightclub.
That's it.
I actually physically, it makes me so anxious to go to the toilet in public.
Yeah, really.
Because I know I'm even in uniform when we're traveling and I get looks. Everyone's like, "What are you doing in here? What are you doing in here?" I belong in here. I literally have bigger boobs than you, dickhead. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it makes me so frustrated because I'm like, I literally have everything, just short hair. But you look like the dickhead because you're wrong. And it's just like, it just gets annoying. Like, I get over it and I'm just like, I'm getting all emotional now. But like, it just gets frustrating. Because like, I'm actually really proud of how I look and like how I present myself and like who I am. And like now I have games and I make an effort to point out little girls with short hair because I know that they see me and they're like, "Dax has short hair. Like, I can have short hair too." And I love that. And I always point that stuff out with little girls at games. Like, I love making them feel special because they obviously have short hair and like I obviously have short hair. So it's like, but it's just frustrating. Like, Dax, I can't go anywhere.
Honestly, like, thank you so much for being so open and vulnerable. And like,
I've never cried, Keegan. Fuck.
No, like, Daxie, honestly, like, and if you want to take a sec.
No, I just need some water.
Have some water, because like, we had this conversation before. It's like, you've got so many young crew looking up to you now. It's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine all those little girls who are just like, you're obviously a fan favorite. If Daxi can do that, and you're obviously such a role model in the community, and you're so influential in the community, it's like if you can do it, well then so can they, and it normalizes it, and it takes the stigma out of it. And honestly, like, fucking do not change for anyone. And I know you won't. That's the
thing, which just really bugs me, because I'm like, I love who I am, and I've finally discovered who I am. Like, I went through a rough coming out period. Like, I didn't know if I was Arthur, Martha, who the fuck I was. But right now, like who I am right now, I've never been prouder. Like, I've never been so proud of how I look and like how I act, and like, but like people don't understand. They obviously only see me for who I am on the field. They don't know me from a bar of soap off the field. Like, they see me as, obviously I'm a colourful character on the field. I'm charismatic. I'm annoying. I'm that annoying. I know half the other teams absolutely hate me. Like, I think I've got the title for the most hated AFLW player. Like,
I didn't even know that was a title.
It was. I get told, but like, that's all people know, and that's what bugs me. Like, they don't know how much it actually affects me. Like, not just like, I don't care that that's my title, but it's like, you don't know me. Like, you don't know what I go through. You don't know my struggles. You don't know that I literally can't even go into the public toilets. I can't even go into the toilets when I'm in my uniform traveling interstate. Yeah. Because I'm embarrassed.
It seems like I have a lot of conversations with crew, and a lot of people, they come on the podcast and they talk after the fact once they have all the answers and they've worked through it. It seems like you're in the thick of it. Like, it happened last year. Do you think about like steps? Actually, better question. What do you tell the young crew? Like, what do you tell the young girls? Like, who have shorter haircuts? Like, because that's going to be a great thing, yeah?
Yeah, like I said, I always point them out. I always make it an effort to tell them how pretty they look. Or like, we do little clinics with little girls, and so many of them now have short hair. And one of them comes up, I asked for the Daxi haircut.
No way.
And I was like, wow, your hair looks so fucking cool.
But
like,
that's got to feel so good.
It did. But then this other shit takes away from it. And then I know that poor little girl might cop the same shit I copped all now.
What do you think we can do as a game? Like, what do you think we can do to rule out these people, and how can we actually make genuine change and genuine impact in the community for like these types of things?
Obviously, like, call it out, like that's something. But I think just education, just like education, like, it's a thing these days. Like, the LGBT world is so big. It's growing. Like, it is absolutely growing. And I think, yeah, just educating. Like, that's someone's dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, do you know that that's your dad commenting on that stuff? Yeah. Like, do you know that's your brother, or that's your mum, or that's your auntie, uncle? Like, we need to have more conversations regarding this stuff. Just because I have short hair does not make me a boy. Does not make me any different to you. Sweetie, I've probably got bigger boobs than you. Like, just, like, but then again, like, I don't want a pity party. Like, I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I don't want that.
That was a big thing that I got from the chat when we talked earlier in the week, was just like, I think it was something about being reserved about having this conversation. You're like, I don't want people to feel sorry for me. And I was like, honestly, like, I don't think people, I don't think it's a pity party at all. I look at being open about your own struggles and vulnerability as a sign of strength. Like, to do what you just did and go and talk on a long form podcast, that's hard, Dax. Like, that's not easy to do. There's a lot of things that I'm not willing to talk about because it is too hard. And there's a lot of things. So I look at it as like incredibly brave. I'm sure there's probably going to be a whole heap of crew in the AFLW and even in is it the Quaffle? That are just, you know, like, it's a funny name.
I know, I'm like,
why is it called the Quaffle?
I know, they changed it to AFLWQ, and I was like, that just doesn't roll off the tongue.
But it's like, that is the whole piece. And that is the whole reason why we're doing this podcast, is to create a space to have these conversations. And it is, I'm so incredibly proud, and I'm so pumped that you came on. But I don't think it's a pity party at all. I think it's an incredibly brave thing to talk about.
It is. It's honestly an everyday struggle. Yeah. It really is. Like, But like, I don't want a pity party. I just want people to think before you speak. Like, that's someone's whole life. You just walk into a toilet, right? When was the last time you thought about going into the toilet?
I never think about
You
it.
never think about it. Me, anxious, head down. Sometimes I even go into the boys.
Really?
Just to stop conversation because I'm not in the mood to be pulled up today. Like, it is insane how many times, even with like out with friends, they just absolutely crack it. But like you said, I don't want a pity party. I just want people to become more educated. I just want people to be like, well, one, mind your own business. I'm in there. I'm taking a wee. I'm leaving. I'm not interrupting your day. I'm not, cracking onto you, thinking there's a boy in there, thinking they're going to have a crack in the local toilets. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm just in there, just like you. Let's go. See you later.
Do you have many conversations about this with the girls in the team?
A lot of them back me up. A lot of them know we have very close-knit conversations, and a lot of them understand it. Like, when we go out, you should just see them. It happened once with Poppy, and she absolutely lost it. Yeah. Like, went bananas. Really? And like my other friends outside, they're all really good about it, and they always pick it up. But I always get really embarrassed. I don't really say anything. I just head down. I go, oh, sorry, sorry, and I just walk out. But they're like, you come back here and apologize to her. She's a woman. You're an idiot. Come back here. And like, they just get proper into it. Like, but they definitely know the struggles I go to, and they're always like, come with us. We'll take you in there. Like. Because, like, it's an anxious thing just to go to the toilet. And it sucks. But it's like everyday life for me.
You mentioned that you talk to a psych, you talk to a therapist. Is that something that helps? Is that something that you talk? Is this something that you talk to them about?
Not really.
It doesn't have to be. I'm just curious.
bits and bobs. I talk to her mostly about other things in regards to life situations, but. This is really like, I don't even know who to like talk to about this stuff. Like, who do you actually talk to that's going to make like a difference in the world? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, honestly, it's just going to happen unless people get educated.
And I think this is a great educational piece.
Like, people?
But like obviously, you say like, who can you talk to about it? Like, just for you personally to manage like and regulate your own emotions. Like, friends and family are great. I think friends and family are great to soundboard ideas. Talking to psychs, like you've got your therapist, like you've got a psychologist, and I'm studying psychology, so I'm a big believer in psychology. I've had a lot of positive benefits from using psychologists and therapists, but there is that educational piece and actually changing stigmas and changing the conversation. And I think the more conversations like we have like of this, the better. And while it's tough for you being an advocate is probably the best thing that you can do for the culture and actually trying to shift the culture, don't you think?
100%. If I feel like, if like you said, if little girls see me in this big, cloud that they put up as their hero, then that's unreal. Like, I've changed and helped that little girl's life. Yeah. And like, I've had my struggles, but hopefully then she'll go through with a less amount of struggles. Beautiful. Because I've taken the cake and she's having a little piece. You know what I mean? That's great. I've taken the hit, but she now can actually just express who she is. And it's so prominent these days with these new kids coming through and, all these LGBT things, and anyone can be whoever they want. Like, I went into a school the other day and some kid identified as a helicopter, and I was like, you do whatever you need to do. But it's just going to become more and more and more. And people are just going to have to wrap their heads around it, that this is the way that the world's moving. And that's just it. There's no other way about it. There isn't. You educate yourself or you get left behind. I love it. And you look like a dickhead.
Before we do wrap things up, I kind of want to touch on the season coming up. Like, how are the girls, how you girls feeling pre-season? Like, you're coming into it, like how you feeling?
We're all jacked. Yeah. Literally and physically.
Literally and physically.
I think we're really excited. The girls have all come back in really great condition, and everyone's really ripping into the season ahead, and everyone's just excited. There's a real buzz around the club and around the boys and around the, like, upstairs and that. So everyone's just excited to to get moving again and play games. And we're now what we call our like ugly girl phase because everyone's like got no tans. And, like, and then we get like our game day phase where everyone's like hot and sexy.
Yeah, so good. Hey, Daxie, but like, thank you so much for coming on today. Like, I'm honestly so grateful. Like, just for you to be so open and vulnerable about this whole thing. I genuinely think that this conversation is going to compound out into the world and the conversations, and yeah, it's just going to be incredible. And so just keep doing what you're doing, honestly. No, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you girls kill it this year.
Thank you. No, I appreciate coming on here. I do, actually. It's very good.
Sorry, I did just finish it up. But is there anything else that you wanted to touch on specifically before we moved on?
You're all good, mate. You've done well here.
You smashed it. Thanks, Daxie. You're the best.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah.